In the year 2000, Enron Corporation was the seventh largest company in the United States. It employed 29,000 people. It had revenues of $111 billion. Fortune magazine had named it America's most innovative company for 6 consecutive years. 12 months later, it was gone. And what you probably don't know is that the collapse didn't happen by accident. It was the result of a decade of deliberate, systematic fraud. Fraud that was known to the company's executives, enabled by its auditors, and ignored by the financial analysts whose job it was to scrutinize exactly this kind of thing. 29,000 people lost their jobs. Thousands lost their entire retirement savings. The pension funds of ordinary employees were wiped out while executives sold their shares before the collapse. So, what was Enron actually doing? On paper, Enron was an energy trading company. In reality, it was an elaborate fiction. A company that had learned how to create the appearance of profit without actually generating it. The mechanism was something called mark-to-market accounting. Under this method, Enron could record the estimated future profits of a long-term contract as current revenue the moment the contract was signed. Even if the money wouldn't arrive for years, even if the project never actually generated profit. Enron's chief financial officer, Andrew Fastow, took this further. He created a network of off-balance sheet partnerships, entities that existed specifically to absorb Enron's debts and losses, keeping them off the company's official financial statements. These partnerships had names like LJM and Raptor. They were essentially fictional, shell companies designed to make Enron look profitable when it wasn't. Fastow personally profited from these arrangements to the tune of approximately $30 million. And here's what makes this story more than just a financial scandal. The people who were supposed to catch this, the auditors, the analysts, the regulators, either didn't or couldn't or chose not to. Enron's auditor was Arthur Andersen, one of the 5 largest accounting firms in the world. Arthur Andersen signed off on Enron's financial statements year after year. When the fraud began to unravel, Arthur Andersen employees shredded documents. The firm was convicted of obstruction of justice in 2002. The conviction was later overturned on technical grounds, but the firm had already collapsed. One of the largest accounting firms in the world, destroyed by its association with Enron. Wall Street analysts were almost universally bullish on Enron stock right up to the collapse. When a journalist asked Enron's CEO, Jeff Skilling, what he thought of a short seller who had bet against Enron stock, Skilling used a profanity on a live earnings call. The short seller was right. Now, let's talk about what happened to the people at the bottom. Enron had a 401k plan, a retirement savings plan, for its employees. A significant portion of those savings were invested in Enron stock. Employees were actively encouraged to invest in company stock as a sign of confidence. In the months before the collapse, as executives were selling their own shares, employees were locked out of their 401k accounts during an administrative transition. They could not sell their Enron stock even as the price collapsed. An employee who had spent 20 years at Enron, investing faithfully in the company retirement plan, could watch their life savings disappear in real time without being able to do anything about it. Some employees lost everything. One former employee described arriving at work one morning and finding the building locked. No warning, no severance, nothing. She was 57 years old. Her retirement savings were gone. Jeff Skilling, Enron's CEO, was convicted of multiple counts of fraud and conspiracy in 2006. He was sentenced to 24 years in prison. That sentence was later reduced. He was released in 2019 after serving 12 years. Kenneth Lay, Enron's founder and chairman, was convicted on all counts. He died of a heart attack before sentencing. Andrew Fastow served 6 years. The executives served time. That part of the story is different from many others on this channel. But here's what didn't happen. The employees who lost their retirement savings received limited compensation through bankruptcy proceedings. The average recovery was pennies on the dollar. The Wall Street analysts who kept rating Enron as a buy while the fraud continued faced no meaningful consequences. The banks that helped structure the off-balance sheet arrangements, JP Chase, Citigroup, Merrill Lynch, paid settlements without admitting wrongdoing. Enron's collapse led directly to the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002, legislation requiring greater financial transparency and accountability from public companies. Many corporate governance experts consider it the most significant financial regulation passed in decades. It was passed because of Enron, which means 29,000 people lost their jobs, thousands lost their retirement savings, and one of America's largest companies was revealed as a fiction, so that regulations could be written that should have existed in the first place. America's most innovative company, 6 years in a row. The innovation was the fraud.